I don't know who wrote that.
Smooth.
Smooth.
Hey everyone, welcome to GMIHub Online. It's so good for you to be here. We are, we've had quite a few weeks off actually.
Yeah, we have. It's been nice.
It has.
I missed you guys, but it's like we're kind of every day we do this is all busy day.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, it makes a busy day.
But we took time in the summer to get to know all of you, to meet you where you were at. So we were at festivals, we were at church events, we were just at different events, just showing our faces and showing our support. So it was just so awesome to meet so many people, but we are so glad to connect with you all again. And we are changing the way we do stuff. We are trying to do more in person, trying to do more of the hybrid scene. And so you'll be seeing us about once a month doing this sort of thing. So keep tuning into us. I'll let Dale do his little spiel in a little bit.
I'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we have an incredible website. I want you to check it out. It's gmihub.ca. Go check it out for yourself. You'll see more about what we do and who we are. There's a place in there that you can connect with us. It's really simple. Put us your email, give us your email, and we'll be able to send you a once a month update. It's really cool, called Hub Happenings. And we kind of communicate with you what's happening with our ministry and what's happening with other ministries. And maybe if you have a song or something you're putting out, a promotion event, or something you want us to promote, please email us and let us put it on our Hub Happening. We will send it out for everybody who is part of our team, and we'll get a chance to help you move forward. It's really, really cool idea. Also, we want to remind you that the season's coming up for Christmas. So we have a really special segment coming up for Christmas. We want you to stay tuned to find out more about that as we get closer to Christmas. This young lady next to me has a song which she has produced, and it is fabulous. So what we want you to do is be able to check that out when it comes. We'll go through the process of how it happened to be, with the recording and the producing and all that. It's going to be really neat. Up until when we talk about marketing. So that's something, if you're an artist, you want to find more about, then stay here with us, and we'll be able to expand on that as that time comes up closer to Christmas. I'm excited about that. I really am. So today, we've got an incredible conversation. If you're an artist or a group of artists or a band of people that are involved in doing concert or booking, you're trying to get bookings for events, this is a show you need to watch.
And here's why. We are talking with event promoters. As my ads have said, event promoters are going to have a chance to speak out.
Yeah.
We've had conversations with a few of them privately and found out there's a lot of stuff that they take into consideration and a lot of challenges, yet there's just so much. And I just thought this information is not information that just needs to sit in a small little room somewhere. This is valuable information that if you're an artist or a band looking to get book gigs, this is getting the inside scoop of what you need to know in order to be on the top of the list of getting onto these events. And I'm so thrilled to introduce who our panelists are tonight.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Who do we have today on the show?
Well, I think we should do ladies first.
All right, let's do
Tuning in all the way from, I want to say Buffalo, New York. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, well, all the way from Buffalo, New York, we have Donna Russo. She is the executive director for Kingdombound, which is a festival that has been running in Darien Lake for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Decades. Yeah.
Decades?
Mm-hmm.
Decades.
Mm-hmm.
Decades. Yes. And we are so thrilled that Donna was able to take time out of her schedule to be with us. So welcome, Donna.
Hey, Donna.
Well, thanks. Happy to be here.
Great.
Awesome. And we also have over to Dale's left. Ta-da! We have Drew Brown. Drew Brown is no stranger to our panels. We've had him several times, but today he's not only going to be talking from the perspective of an artist, but he also runs events. He produces events, and he's done it with his local community. And so we are going to get Drew to talk about what he goes through in booking artists. So welcome back, Drew.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back with you guys.
Awesome. And over to my right, we have Jay Thomblison. I hope I said that right.
Good enough.
Yeah, good enough. Jay heralds from Burlington, Ontario, and he is actually the talent buyer for Canada's largest Ribfest, which happens in Burlington, Ontario. So Jay, welcome. So glad you're able to be here with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome.
Pleasure.
And we have, last but not least, Devon Wells. Devon is with Gospel Connection. If you're not aware of Gospel Connection, that is basically an event promoter's haven. He actually promotes as many events as comes across his desk. And I think the last time I heard him speak, he said there's over 200 events that happen almost every weekend or something like that.
You'll get those numbers. It's very very, very, very close.
Very close,
Yes.
very close. But there's a lot of events that he promotes. So, Devon, welcome. We'd love to hear your perspective on all of this event promoting stuff. So, thank you for being here.
No
It
problem.
sounds like
Thank you.
Devon's probably, if you've been to a concert in the GTA, he's probably had something to do with it.
Pretty
But
much.
okay, so I want to kick this off with maybe stirring the fire a little bit. But when there's a time when you've booked an audience or an artist or a group, and they've come in and they're just awful. You think to yourself, oh, why did I book these people? What do you do, if anything?
Anybody?
Who's going?
Jump on it. Come on.
When I book my festivals, I always have, one, maybe two wild cards that, I've been doing this for a number of years. I know a lot of the acts. I know they can deliver. But I always book someone new who may be a wild card, but I always put them in a safe time slot, right? You really can't screw up a festival at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be a headliner, but, I'll put you there. If you pull it off and you're actually good, well, then the next year, a couple years later, you work your way up to a better slot.
That makes sense.
I was going to say something very similar. I think the earlier slots are great for those people who they could be bad, or they could be like they could be amazing, and they could be like your next headliner next year.
Yeah.
So I think usually the earlier slots. But if it's like let's say it's an evening event where you only have 3 bands, you kind of just have to grin and bear it, and just let the bad band do their thing, and then afterwards you can have a wonderful discussion and talk about the future or the lack thereof in terms of other events.
Understandable.
But also it gives, especially if they're a band who is they love to learn and love to grow, they actually want the feedback. They want you to say, hey, you know what? Your opening is rough, your ending was terrible, your guitars were out of tune. Fix that, and you guys have a future.
Right.
Most bands who want to be awesome want the bad feedback,
Right.
so they can actually get awesome, so they can be
Right.
better.
That makes sense.
So I think that for me, that's the big thing. It's like, yes, earlier slots, but also give that feedback in a nice, helpful way. Helpful is key. Nice, not so much, but definitely helpful.
Sure.
Donna, what about you? Have you ever had a situation where you've booked an artist that is probably not so good? They're pretty
Less than Lester.
Lester. And how have you handled that if you've had that?
We've had more than a few. I will say in my history,
I love it.
They're 7 years old. And so in our history, I can think of one band, they'll remain nameless, but they actually went home and didn't play. They refused to get in line with some simple things that we asked them to do that would keep everybody safe and
Wow.
secure. And so we sent them home. But generally, that's not the rule. I think that sometimes you don't know till the band actually starts to play. And then I think you just do your best to get through it. And I agree that constructive criticism is almost always welcome. If the band truly is dedicated to what they're doing and they want to succeed, then they're going to be open to hearing what other people are observing about them. And so, I think that the biggest thing is just having the patience to kind of get through it, and then hopefully be able to help them learn and grow from the experience.
Nice.
An incredible amount of patience. Wow. Okay.
This is true.
Well, first of all, let me somewhat a little bit clarify as to what we do. So for Gospel Connection Canada, I know I never told you, but I am actually the founder and the owner of Gospel Connection Canada. We don't only promote, but for the last 15 years, we've been the premier go-to for gospel concerts in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal. So we also do touring, and we book the number one gospel artists in the world, you want to say, from Australia to UK to the US. Most of the times we're the first to bring them here.
Wow.
So behind the scenes, yes, this is also what Gospel Connection does. In terms of artists, we love to have the bad ones, because guess what? They're the budget breakers, I would say, to fill in to fill in the spots, the opening spots. But it's not really bad. We tend not to say bad ones, but the artist that's looking to grow and to develop their skills and to just build their portfolio. I usually love giving those artists that opportunity. So knowing that they might not be as good, that's why they're the openers.
Yeah.
But
And
what
it's
you're saying,
one or
I
two.
think, is actually really encouraging, because artists need stage time.
Yes.
They
That's
need
right.
they need to get their stage legs,
Yeah.
and that's an opportunity you've just given them.
That's
So
right.
I commend you for that. That's not an easy piece of the pie to eat, especially if you got an event with a lot of people that are
Yeah.
paying money. But that's a good idea. It's
Yep.
a really good
Somebody needs to give them the opportunity.
Mhm.
That's right.
All right.
That's
So knowing that they may not be that good, welcome. Take a spot. And guess what? 1 year I actually did that. You pay for your spot.
Mhm.
So that's another revenue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pay to play.
Pay to play, yeah.
Pay to play, right? Well, then how do actually, like, my question is, how do you actually choose your artists for your events? Because everyone has a different type of event,
Mhm.
and you're probably appealing to a different audience. So how do you choose your artists? What's your process? Okay, I'll start with Donna. what's your process, Donna?
Well, it's a little bit of a complex combination, because we poll the audience and ask them who they want to hear. We talk to the agents and we see who are they really wanting to have out that season. We listen ourselves, we watch the charts. But if anybody's a follower, like, we book some artists over and over and over again. And
Yeah.
the reason we do that is because we have built a relationship with one another. Our mission and their mission mesh together. And so we come together with kind of one purpose, and we're able to accomplish that for both the band and the ministry. So it plays into the process of how we do the booking. And then there'll be the occasional, like when we were just talking about it, and that doesn't necessarily mean that an artist is maybe not as talented. We sometimes find a diamond that way. We book somebody, when you just mentioned, we've had a pay-to-play artist on the roster for the last few years, and that pay-to-play artist has really sometimes been one of those pivotal where we said, hey, let's give them another slot on a different stage at another time because we want to give them some exposure because they really captivated the audience. A lot of the selection, I feel, has to do with relationship, and I know that's hard when you're getting a new artist involved. But then sometimes it relies back on, do you have a relationship with that particular artist manager or the booking agent so that you trust them, so you know that they know you, they know your event, and they're going to make recommendations to us that those artists will fit what we're doing. So it's kind of a combination of many things that play into us choosing the artist for that particular season.
So relationship being a big one. Now, Drew, interesting to hear from your perspective. How do you, is your process different than Donna's or similar? How does that work?
Somewhat similar and somewhat different. For me, I mean, the music industry is all relationship based. It's all like, not just who you know, but kind of like who you've connected to over the years or even recently. And so a lot of it is as I'm watching bands, because I'm not just a musician, but I'm a music fan. And so I go out and check out bands and check out artists. And when I see someone, I'm like, that was cool. I'm like, I want to get to know who they are. I want to get to know what they're about. I want to know their kids' names. I just want to know, I want to be in a relationship with these people because they're super awesome people. And then when it's time to put an event together, I think two things. Okay, who are the people who obviously can bring some numbers? Because we got to make money. We have to make sure this thing can carry itself. Who are the artists who are doing something really cool and really interesting in the scene? That's new and unique, or it just kind of works. Like right now, country is the thing. So who's the cool local country artist that can really bring it? But then I think who are the new kids who are coming up who are doing some great stuff? Like last year, I booked this punk band. And for 5 months leading up to the show, before I even booked them, they were coming to me and asking me for advice about where they should play and how they should do things. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check these guys out. I went to go see their show. It was amazing. I'm like, okay, I'm booking you for the next big thing. And they killed it. Now they're too big for us. I couldn't afford them now. They're doing some really good stuff. So I think it is all about relationships, but it's also about keeping your ear to the ground about what is happening. Because then you can find the real gold there, and it makes things easier. Because then it's about this person, great vision. They understand my vision. It's going to be easy for us to work together. It's not going to be an ego-based thing. It's just going to be fun and music, and then find the cool little nuggets of gold who are doing some great new things in the industry. It's sort of it's all relationship. It's also the ear to the ground, finding out who's doing what. That's really interesting and cool.
Awesome. Jay, you do the Ribfest. So how is it similar, different?
We're a little bit different because we are not a music festival. We're a food festival with music. Right. So the draw is not the music. I mean, some people do come, they do check it out. They know their bands, they have their favorites. Right. But people are coming because it's a good time.
Yes.
I'm going to eat. I'm going to hear music. I'm going to have a beverage. I'm going to send my kids down to the fair or the Midway, right? So it's an event that we have. So basically, I look at music not so much to draw people in, but to keep people there, right? Sense, yeah. So when I'm looking for acts, we have an application process. I get up to, 200-300 people who apply, and I only have 25 spots. So it's quite a list that you have to sort of have to say no to, unfortunately. But it's sort of what my audience is, the general public. So I'm not portraying a message such as Kingdombound would be or whatever. It's more what music people like, what's popular, who's going to stay in the seat, tap their feet, and stick around for the afternoon.
Right. That makes sense.
So, and as a result, sort of going back to the first question about the people that aren't, the bad acts or you're taking the gamble. People aren't there to listen. They're there. It's kind of background music while they're eating, right? They're not sitting there focused going, ooh, that was a bad note.
So it's less of a gamble for you think?
It's less of a gamble for me to take on a newcomer, right? And I mean, you do find the gold nugget sometimes. It just pops in there. But so we're a bit of a different event in that aspect that the music isn't a draw. We have tried it with some big name acts. Really doesn't pay off, so it's why would I pay $10,000 for an artist when I can pack the park with a $2,000 artist?
Right.
Because we are a charity
Right.
as well. So.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Devon, from your
For
perspective.
us, it's 100% gamble.
Really?
100%. Again, because for us, it's sometimes it's hard to say this based on who you're speaking to, especially when you're speaking within the church. It's business.
Mhm.
All right. And on top of that, you look at the industry, and with gospel music compared to like Kingdombound, again, the industry is somewhat segregated. It's divided. You might hear Christian music, and then you'll hear gospel music.
Yeah.
Right? It's completely different. With what Gospel Connection Canada engage in is gospel industry. So you get a lot of the Black gospel artists. Now there is a shift that's happening with the Christian music and the gospel, which is somewhat, you have the CCM and the Kurt Franklin type that's merging, right? And then that's where you get some of the
Maverick.
like the Maverick music, the elevation,
Yes.
which now gospel is somewhat twisting a little bit. So when we're looking for artists to host for a concert, we need butts in seats because we're using investors' funds. We're using complete, if it's out of pocket for some of my clients, but those are monies that have to be made back. It's the same like any secular event that happens at AC. Work with some of the biggest secular artists as well. You need those dollars to turn around, right? So when we're choosing an artist, we have to look at the charts. We have to look at the trend in the market, and on top of that, really is people singing the songs. So my job as the director of our company, if I make a bad mistake to say, hey, this event is costing us $120,000, $200,000, and I make a bad choice to bring this artist, it's either the event flops, we lose $100,000 overnight,
Hey, sink or swim.
or we go for it. And as a company, we basically stand that we will never cancel an event. So we have to take that gamble to move forward no matter what. And that is the biggest gamble that we take. So the only how an event will get canceled is by the act of God. Other than that, it have to go on. So guess what? Yep, it's another discussion. How much hundreds of thousands of dollars that we lose overnight. So, yep, it's a gamble for us.
Well, Devon, you said that phrase that I've heard you say before is just business.
It's business.
Just business. The way you say it, it's like. And so I kind of want to tap into that a little bit more. I know you said about you look at the charts, you look at what's popular, and this is kind of now I'm kind of thinking of artists that are listening to this right now, and they're going, so does that mean as an artist I have to make sure that I have to make sure my songs are at the charts? Does it mean that I have to have a huge fan base? Like, is that kind of in line with what you're looking for when you look for artists?
So as you said, when I say it's just business, I literally mean it's just business. And when I say business, you as an artist, you're a product. You are this bottle of water. Now, how do you present yourself that when Walmart have you on the shelf, I can walk by and be enticed to pick you up and buy you? It's the same back to music. How do you present yourself now? Are you going with the trend? Right now, it's digital. It's music videos. It's Instagram. It's TikTok. It's that 5 seconds that you give people of yourself, your brand. It's that 5 seconds to get them to be, really drawn to you. So how do you do that? That is what we look for. And literally, with music right now, trend literally lasts for a month or 2 or 3 months. So you can come out with the hottest song right now. 2 months from now, goodbye. So that is what I do. I would pick that song up, and we got to do that concert right away, because 3 months from now, something already take that over. So when I say business, it's literally business. So we're talking about your branding. We're talking about how well you're marketing. We're talking about the investment that you make into your business, your product, yourself.
Absolutely. We're going to get back to that. Well, we're going to delve more into that, but I want to hear from Drew J and Donna. Any comments related to what Devon just said? Is that the just business part? Do you also have to look at, or do you take that into consideration, how they're presenting the artist brand, their fan base, where are they on the charts? Do you take all that into consideration as well when booking artists?
Well, I know for me, like I'll put my artist hat on now. That's what my brain thinks of most times of the day. I'm actually building a new project right now, and we want to make sure we're ready for like next spring. And so right now we're like, well, I'm sort of at the drawing board thinking about, yes, what's the look going to be, the photography, what's the branding going to be, what's the vibe. Let's start shooting some videos now, so they're ready to go. Let's begin sort of looking at what is coming up in trends and sort of hopping on certain trends. My brain is obsessed with all that. And not in a weird way, but in a way it's like I'm trying to sort of build something here. And so I want to build as quickly as possible. So when, that kind of like January and February kind of, things start, people start booking bands for different things, I want to make sure that I'm there, that my act is there, and that we don't look like a brand new band. We look like a band who's rising. And so we want to make sure the content's already there, that we're actually building our social media presence, that there's always hopefully traction on our videos, that we're bringing people to shows already, and we can grab content at the shows. So yes, it's just business, and it's all of that. And as an artist, and I urge other artists, try and get on that train too. Try and like learn what's happening, learn what's growing, what's trending, and build that kind of like that box of like content that you can like drop anytime you want. Take one song, film one song, and that could be like 10 pieces of content right there. Like really try and think creatively and strategically about it sounds so stupid, but like creatively and strategically about how you present yourself online. That sounds ridiculous to say. I hate the fact that those words came out of my mouth, but that is the business. It sounds ridiculous, but that's what you have to do. So yeah, it's business. It's business.
Donna, I know that you said that you get your artists mostly from relationship, but in a case of looking for new artists, do you look at the branding, the trends, where their songs are on the charts, how many fans they have? Does that all play a part in some of the new artists that you may have on your stages?
Oh, definitely. I think that, there's definitely a part of that process that goes into the choosing. An artist who maybe we never heard of, and they have, 1 million hits on TikTok or on any other social media platform. Obviously, that's going to make everybody sit up and take notice. And there have been a couple of artists who've broken into the industry as a result of that. They didn't have a big platform coming from their management company. They didn't have a great video. They had a video they made in their car, and they played it. It went viral, and the next thing you know, the artist is signed to an agent, and they're being booked all over the place. So we see that happen all the time. The one comment I was going to make back, I say this to our production manager all the time. They want to slap me when I say it. I think that if we could put a set together on the stage of all those great songs, like when you said, hey, I hear that song, it's a hot song right now, we want to book that band and bring them in concert immediately. And I've always said, hey, if we could bring 6 artists and let them just play their top number 1 song, one after the other, which of course is a production nightmare, and we
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
can afford to do it. But I know, like,
Yeah,
it's
right.
sort of like, let's bring the playlist to the stage, because that's what people are doing. The listeners, the audience, they have a playlist. You know, I'm a little older than some of you around the table here, so I can remember when a new project came out, whatever format it was on. I won't mention the formats that I've listened to. You listened to the whole thing. You knew all the songs the artist put on there. Now, everybody only knows the song that's playing on the radio. It's a very dedicated listener who follows their artist and pays attention to the whole project. So we're working with a different mentality. So yes, there's definitely that element of the business that has to be woven into the process when we're selecting the artists.
Awesome. And Jay, talk to us.
We're a little bit different. We're more like,
Donna.
you know, what she wanted there. We hire the band that plays the hit list.
Yeah.
You know, we are mostly cover acts. So they play what's current, what everybody knows, the classic rock, the current pop, the whatever. Because again, my festival is keeping you there and being recognized and knowing. You know, we have had some original artists through, but they typically will do a blend of, you know, cover plus throw the odd original in, right? A straight all original, you lose the crowd at an event like mine. So I really do have the every band plays a set list type format.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say to Donna, bring the playlist to the stage. Hey, that's like our artist showcase.
it is.
Who's?
Yes.
You know, we thought of doing that many times. Actually, just after COVID, we thought of doing that very same thing. But it will be a production nightmare.
No one will want to get off the stage.
Unless you can get that one band.
Go ahead, Donna. Go ahead.
Or a showcase that works when you're in the town where all the artists are. So you don't have as much expenditure out to get them there. But, you know, like for us to do an artist showcase style on the stage and haul everybody over into Buffalo would be, be expensive besides being a production nightmare.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I don't want to delve into it's just business. Let's get into I want to talk about EPKs.
Yes.
Mhm.
And for those of you who are not familiar with that, EPKs are electronic press kits, right, Drew?
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So let's talk about what goes in an EPK, and not just what goes into it, but what are the things that make an EPK something that an event promoter or event producer will look at and go, yes.
That's what I was about to ask. Make sure it's things you're looking for when you look at an EPK.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
So what are some elements in an EPK or electronic? What's the word?
Electronic.
I don't know what she's even fishing for there. It's like,
Electronic press kits.
Electronic press kit.
there you go. Okay.
Yeah. I think we'll say back in the day, back when I used to do when I was in bands and doing labels and stuff like that, the press kits actually were like
Paper.
like a folder with a CD and a massive 8x10 picture, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. So
That
it was
was
like these large kits. And then there's a few online services that kind of streamlined it. There was this company called Sonic Bids that did a great job of streamlining the EPKs. Now there's a bunch of different things that you can do. But typically now, and again, I'm sort of like right in the middle where I receive EPKs a lot, but also I'm building ones for my new projects because I want to make sure that we're ready to go. So bio is obvious, a biography, and keep it short and sweet and interesting. We don't need to hear like in 1982 I was born and no. Like everything is about a story. So what kind of what's your story in terms of why you do what you do and what you've done so far? I think that's key, but it has to be compelling. Not a lie, just like everybody has a story. Everybody does. And you might think it's boring, but trust me, it's probably not. And so we want to hear that story. A picture, obviously, but even more so, video. So you can embed videos into your electronic press kit or just have links depending on how you do it. Either one's fine. People want like music or tags to your music. They want some people actually want numbers for your socials. So they don't really care what your socials are. Just say Instagram, I have this many followers. TikTok, I have this many followers. So at the end of the day, that's what they're looking for. I do a little bit of both, where I kind of like highlight what we do and then also the numbers involved. And then at some point, people want to know like, okay, well, where have you been playing, or what's your next gig? And so you can put your big, let's say your big sort of high points of the year. This year we played this festival and this festival, went on tour with this band, and next year we're doing this. That's cool. It sounds like you're bragging, but that's what you have to do, unfortunately. And so I think if you have those kind of things, you have a bio, you have a picture, video, information on your socials, tags towards your music, where we can find your music, and what kind of styles we can actually hear it right there. That helps a lot. Whether it's in a PDF form, or whether it's like an email HTML thing, or whether it's a whole different site altogether, I don't think anybody cares anymore. I think they just want the information distilled in a great way where I can quickly read and get what I need, and something that looks nice and feels good. And again, story. It's all about your story, and I want to know who you are and what makes you even want to do this thing. Because music is fun, but it's also hard work.
Right.
And so if you're willing to sort of sacrifice so much time and energy into doing music, that tells me something about you. And so I want to know those details.
Now, you did mention earlier about it was kind of glossed over. We're talking about image, what it looks like, and so I think that in the press kit is a branding. You have to make sure you're considering that as well.
Yes, completely. I'm that guy. Like I'm a branding guy, and so I always look to see whether the EPK matches up with like the look and vibe of their socials or of their website or of their. I don't want something that looks totally opposite. Right. I want something cohesive and nice. Yeah. That's a me thing, but I know for me that's helped with getting larger gigs. People go, "Oh, he's pretty professional. Look at that." I'm like, yeah, I did it myself in Canva.
But also the authenticity, though. When you're talking about, if you're going to be authentic on your socials, it's going to reflect that on your EPK, right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, I would agree with a lot of what you said. That it's the bio, who you are. I like when the individual band members are listed. I look to see they've played with, and if you sort of recognize some big names in there, you kind of. It minimizes that wild card factor. Well, if they played with them and them, they're good musicians type thing. Right. The image is important, and I like the videos. Not so much the, produce videos for a hit song and that kind of stuff. I like watching the live footage.
Yes.
Because I know what you sound like. You can be in a studio and make anybody sound great. Right. But if you have a live video, you really can tell how good the performer is. I always discount the sound quality because I know my guys can fix it on stage, right? But if you're hitting the right notes, if you're not out of tune, if you're acting as a cohesive unit on stage and you look good, that's what matters. Is anybody can produce a nice shiny video that makes you look and sound fantastic, but when you actually show up, it's not that. Similar to you, I would look at past events, coming events. I will hit 3 or 4 bars in a night, sometimes checking out different bands. Usually within 2 songs, right? The first one is either could be a fluke, and the second one confirms whether it was good or bad.
Right. That's right.
Within 2 songs, you kind of know, okay, this could work.
That's true.
And I always used to ask when I would talk to someone at a break or whatever, like, okay, who is in your band? Because I don't know how many times you'd be up there. Well, the drummer's a sub and our bass player's away. And it's like, well, who am I getting? That's what I want to know as well. So,
For us, the EPK is not so much. It's mostly for the openers. That I would usually, because again, remember, we're very risk heavy, right? We're gambling here. So the main acts, usually we know who they are. Right. We already know, hey, they will draw people to the building. In terms of our openers, because again, we get so much requests, hey, can we open for the next artist, or can we be on this show, or can we be at this festival? Usually what I do, sure, send me your name, your Instagram, your Facebook, your YouTube. I am not sitting down to look at a very beautiful Canva created, you know, very nice writes up and everything like that. No, as you said, by the second song I review on YouTube or so, and not even the song, the live performance, and that's the first thing I look for. Do you live in concert? You know, if you don't have anything of yourself online, YouTube, wheresoever, Facebook, it does not matter for me. Once I can see by the second song, then I know. If you're a completely new artist, then I will ask. And, you know, I did that to one girl. She just came from the Caribbean, and we had one of Nigeria's top artists. Her name is Sinaj. And we did her tour, her Canadian tour. And this one girl called and she's like, I would like to open up. I'm like, okay, I did not confirm an opener as yet. You know what I did? She had nothing online. So I said, sing me a line over the phone. Let me just hear you. I don't know why I did it. You would never believe it. I listened to this girl, and right away I'm like, sing this way, do this for this audience, and you will kill it. I'll provide you with the band. Wow. She was the highlight of that tour. Wow. And it was, again, another chance I took. But after listening to her just over the phone, I can tell, and I'm pretty sure you guys can do the same when you listen. You know, you can obviously know what energy, what vibes, you know, what you'll get. So the EPK for me is usually, you know, the whole package. Yeah, that's my second. Just your name. Let me see who you are digitally, and I make my judgments from there.
Interesting. Donna, what about you? EPK kits?
I'd echo all the things that I just heard. This is the time of the year now, from September till the middle of February, that I dread, because my inbox is filled with, can I play? Can I play? Can I play? Can I play? Here's my stuff. Here's my stuff. And you know, and I appreciate a beautifully crafted EPK. However, it's the live piece. Send me your YouTube video. Videotape yourself in the hallway. If you're singing, I agree. Like, to me, like, when you hear it and you see it, you know it. Like, you just have that kind of, there's that gut that you say, okay, this is somebody I can take a chance on. And again, I go back to the EPKs are, you know, and that information is really important for the new artists. Some of what we get to do in the contemporary Christian music industry is participate in Gospel Music Week. And so as a result, we get to see some of those new artists actually perform live in front of us and give us a chance to see whether or not we want to make an investment. But that may be 5 artists, and we may get inquiries from 50 of them throughout the season, or 60. And so to me, the live element is always the most important, because I'm looking to see if they can communicate. Can they connect with the audience? Do they communicate their message? Do they have any stage presence? Because I've had a couple of artists who have phenomenal vocals, great songs. They sing really well, what you would hear on the radio. And then when you put them live in front of an audience, there's nothing there. They belong in the studio singing. And sometimes you take a chance that way and you lose. They lose and we lose, because the audience doesn't get to connect with somebody because they just don't have that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I was going to say, so just to clarify the video thing, because I was going to ask about this, because, you know, some people, when we ask, we you know, do artist showcases, and sometimes we do ask for videos, and of course what we get is the well-produced, you know, here's my video, the lyrics and the setting and the wind blowing in the hair, you know, the whole thing, you know, we get it. And my husband's the one that goes, I don't want that video.
That's right.
I want the video that tells me, like, it was like, it's a raw thing, like, get your friend to get your phone, sing some lines, and let me see and hear what you're like.
That's right.
And am I correct? Like, are you all agreeing with this? Like, if someone literally has like, for lack of a better way of putting it, here's a phone taking a video of friend so and so singing or performing, that means more to all of you than the properly produced, wind blowing in the hair thing, right?
Well, if he can get an opening act through a phone singing to him,
With the wind blowing in the hair.
you won't see the wind blowing in her hair because she's on the phone. So,
But that's once in a lifetime you'll get that,
well, exactly.
right?
But it's that kind of thing that you need to see the person actually doing it, performing, so they can say, "Oh, you know what? They'd be good on stage."
But as Donna said, sometimes it's just your gut.
Yes, that's
Right?
true.
You and as a experienced producer, so you will know if this person can definitely bring it to the stage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely the live performance or going and seeing someone perform live.
Yeah.
Those are the
Just
two.
want to check them out live. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't need the hair blowing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like all the videos I'm working on are all like if we're playing somewhere, we'll set up 2 iPhones and just capture it and I'll edit it together, so it's not just like a one thing. But like even for all you artists out there, like, even if you're at your church, as long as it looks good, please make it look good. just and do it not like you're just playing around, but do it as if you're actually, if you're a worship band, lead worship. If you're like a pop band, rock band, hip hop, whatever you're doing, perform the song. And that's so you show your energy.
Right. Don't just sing it.
Right. But perform it.
Bring it.
If you have a rehearsal hall in your town or city, go down there, rent it for $30 for 3 hours, use the lights, use the big stage, and just rock it. Because then you have a great backdrop for your song. And then you'll have great sound as well in that space, and then record it. Like that will be way better for you in the long haul than the wind blowing or just trying to like go through the song in a timid way on your church stage. You need something that shows these guys exactly who you are as an artist. You got to win them over. Eat my words. You have to be yourself and be your authentic self the way you would normally perform it. That will win them over.
Absolutely.
That's what I should have said. I'm sorry.
Right.
And that is one of the things we do is we have the big video screen on our stage so that people way out in the crowd can see stuff. And at the end of the event, our production crew provides each band with a recording of their performance.
Right.
So that they can take that hour and a half and cut pieces out or put songs up or do whatever on YouTube.
Right.
We give them YouTube footage
That's awesome.
to make it
Nice.
as a promotion tool.
That's awesome.
You guys are a charity.
Just label us as Canada's largest Ribfest. That's all I ask.
It's Brandon.
You
That's
do
right.
realize,
That's
Jay,
right. That's
you
right.
do realize, Jay, now everyone's going to be writing us like, where's that Jay guy? Where are we going to get a video there?
Hold him. Grab our demo.
And one of the things that we have to remember, again, the reason for all of this, well, again, on our side, is number one, if we put you on stage, it's a production that we're doing. So which means we are creating an entertainment for guests. So if you're here on stage, you need to produce to make us as the producers look good. It's like Mervish putting on a Mervish production, right? The guest pays what, $150 for a ticket. It's the same thing for concerts. You're paying $50 to $60 to $70. Well, in Buffalo there it might be a little bit more, but yeah, you're paying that. That means the guests, you want your guests to feel good for their hard working dollars, right? You come out to be entertained. You better get on stage and do good. Right. So that's why, again, it's important what we look for. It's not just, again, the nice written up thing and everybody comes back and say, why don't you guys hire more Canadian artists? Or why don't you guys, because you have not presented yourself. You have not produced yourself. You have not invested in yourself.
That's the word.
That I can take our investments and invest back in you to now entertain, to now bring back a good reputation or an investment for us.
Yes.
And again, it's not really us, it's the investors,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it's like a whole recycling system here.
Mm. I think you were looking at my questions.
Yeah.
Because
we were just getting into the pricing aspect of it and how that would be. How would you word that again? You talked about it earlier.
how it's interpreted,
Yeah.
right? You talked about investors. Now that's a whole different even angle just to think about. You have investors, which are people that are not like the corporate investors, I guess. There could be angel investors, but also people that are coming to your event in a way are investing in your events. I don't know if you think of it that way. So how do you ensure, not how do you ensure? When you have artists, then now there are some, right, that will just I just want to sing or I just want to perform and it doesn't matter. But there are others that they weigh the costs for themselves and whether they have a band or not, I don't know, but they weigh the costs of say travel or whatever the case may be. And they say, okay, I know I'm spending this much money to get to this event. I'm spending this much time and I think I'm worth this much. Therefore, if someone asks me how much do I what my charges are, I tell them X amount, whatever that is, right? What does that mean to the event promoter? So if you hear an artist saying, hi, I'll sing for you, I'm worth $500, for example, what does that mean?
It's not a lot of money, Cheryl.
Okay. $5,000.
Okay,
Is that better?
That's okay.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear Kingdombound.
Yeah.
You want to hear from King?
Oh man, I can't
Okay.
wait, and then I'll share on the gospel side.
Okay, Donna, it has been thrown to you.
Oh,
What do you
yes.
say?
Okay, well, this is where the agents come in. So we're not generally speaking with the artist unless it's really a brand new artist who doesn't have any representation yet. So the vast majority of the time, it's the agent. And so the agent, oh, you want to book X? It's X amount. End of discussion. It's kind of like if you remember years ago when Saturn came into the marketplace with their cars, their kind of their lingo was no model, no negotiating. Here's the price for the car, take it or leave it. And that's kind of how things get presented sometimes. But one of the things that we've learned over the years is that we have to look at what our market will bear. And so I can't look necessarily at the cost of an artist and say, we're going to make that offer. We can't do that. So we're going to make an offer for what we feel our market will bear to pay for that artist based on what we think we can draw from the audience. Sometimes it works and the artist hears what we're saying, and sometimes it doesn't. They just pass. There's so many things that play into this, and I think that the cost factor sometimes is one of the largest deterrents in making the decisions about who comes to play their festival. Every year I'll have people come up to me. Why don't you have so-and-so? Why don't you have so-and-so? Oh, they played over here. Why didn't you bring them in? And sometimes I want to be able to sit down with them and say, you know what? We simply can't afford that artist. It's just, how it goes. The ticket prices that we're charging, we'd never be able to cover that cost. And then sometimes I don't want to say that because I want to shield the audience a little bit from that side of the business so that they're not seeing it as a business, because the real business that Kingdombound is in is to share the gospel. And that's what that is our main purpose. But then you have the business of being able to present the gospel in this manner using the talent that's available. The artists don't come and play for free, contrary to some people's popular belief. They think the artist comes and plays out of the goodness of their heart because they feel led to do that. And maybe that happened 50 years ago or 40 years ago, but that doesn't happen now. And so you have to balance. It's a very delicate balance to try to make this work. And at least for me and our team, a lot of prayer goes into us so that we do not become jaded at the idea of how much the artists cost. And so every year that seems to it escalates. and we have to look at it and be realistic and say, okay, what are the things that we can do? So to me, it's a delicate balance of how you look at what you're going to pay for an artist. We're generally not in a place where we can take a large gamble. I'm not saying that we don't take some risk when we are booking, because we certainly do. But we're not in a place financially where we can always do that. And so we have to look at who's available that fits into the budget that is our market here. I don't know if that helps.
That's wise, though. That's wise.
Yeah.
See, that is why I wanted to hear from you first.
Yeah.
Because 50 years ago, yes, or 10 years, well, not even 10 years, 20 years ago before COVID. But I have a question for you.
Sure.
So an artist management, an artist you would hope to have on your roster for, say, this year, next year, whensoever, gives you a figure, say, okay, it will cost you 80 grand. How do you negotiate with that artist if you really believe that they are the artist that's fit for your theme, your vision for this year's Kingdombound? How do you handle that, and how do you deal with it?
Well, if it's a repeat artist, somebody that we've had before, then we're going to go back and look at our history with them and show them what they've been actually able to draw. Hey, you were here on Monday 2 years ago, and here's what we sold. Not putting all the sales totally on that artist, but let's just, for the sake of this discussion, it's a headliner. And so we would take that headliner and we'd look at them and we would say, here's what you did. And so right now we can't justify this increase, but here's what we could do. We'll structure an offer so that it will include some bonus money. So if they can reach a certain number of ticket sales, then we will increase the honorarium and try to get them to the place that they're looking to achieve. We've done that on several occasions over the past, number of years. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but the artists generally have been willing to at least entertain receiving that kind of an offer, and looking at the fact that we're giving them some evidence to say, you might be able to draw that in an A market. We're not an A market. And even though Kingdombound's been around for a long time, we're not an A market. And so, we're the fill dates. When there's a tour that goes out, Buffalo and our surrounding suburbs, we're the fill date when they're going to all the major cities. And so, we recognize that. We know our place in the market. And so generally that's the place where we'll come at to negotiate. We won't just offer them the lower figure and say, hey, will you do us a favor? We'll come back and say, if that's really what you think that you're worth, then we have to structure something to get you to that. And then either we're all going to work together between you promoting yourself and us promoting you, and we're going to see if we can hit those numbers so that you can earn that honorarium.
Good.
Yep.
Well, at least we're not on our own because we experience the very same thing as well, and we've done that same offer. Again, it's not unusual, or it's not often you'll get many artists to accept offers like that, especially when you say, hey, we'll have an open book, because an open book could be very dangerous. I've had an artist one time, the show I believed would have had about 3,000 people. So my offer that I put in was for about 3,000. Now I was able to pull 6,000 people at that event. And the artists and the management walked off stage after and said, hey, we need more money. Literally. Walked out, they got off stage, after the show, and they came up to me and they said, we need more money. I'm like, why? Well, you had way more than 3,000 people. I said, well, you know what? Let's do another tour, right? And we put the offer up and so forth. And that was, very well done. But sometimes it's hard to predict what, because going back to like what she said, it's based on the market and again based on perception. So for example, I'm in Canada here, I'm looking at Kingdombound. Kingdombound is definitely a A++, festival that every artist wants to be at. But the production team will be like, no, we're not. Right? It's the same thing here in Canada, that when we're producing our events, people will see 3,000, 4,000 people, 5,000 people. And it's like, yeah, you guys make so much, but no, we're not. Canada is like for gospel music, it's like a D minus. Right? That's how bad it is. But why, again, it's what we can charge for a ticket. It's not where the market should be. Right. So that's why it's sometimes difficult when we're negotiating with artists and their offer is like, right now I'm negotiating with two tours, and it's literally running me 120,000, a show. So it's like, guys, our market can't afford that. I cannot sell $80 tickets.
Yeah.
All right. So that's where it's hard now. So that same offer I have on the table, let's do a guarantee plus ticket sales.
Exactly.
Right. So sometimes that works. So that's what I'm right now literally working on to say, okay, yeah, will you accept such offer? But perception is what the agencies, they look at. And again, I would look at Kingdombound and say, yeah, my Kingdombound is the biggest thing ever for any Christian music festival, So that's one of our challenges here.
Wow. Drew and Jay, what do you have to say about this pricing and how does that work?
I'm just realizing that I'm a totally different type of animal in this festival world and whatnot.
And that's why we have you here.
You're talking about crowds and, pulling 6,000, 3,000 getting 6. And I'm like, yeah, I have like 12,000 people in the park at night for a free concert. I should be charging. What could I make? So we are essentially, it's a free festival. It's a $2 admission, so essentially free. And as I said, we do the local bands. We try to get people, from Burlington. We try to promote Burlington musicians because that's where we're located. The Hamilton, Niagara, sort of local driving distance. We don't have the big name acts, and I don't deal with agents. I don't like agents. I'm sorry if there's any listening, but it's a lot easier to go straight to the band. And most of the bands I do book are sort of the local weekend warriors, right? They have their week job and they play on the weekend and have fun. So many of them are just thrilled to be able to play on a big stage with production and that type of a crowd. It's not the bar with 50 people. They probably would play for free if I'd asked them, but I would never do that because they're, putting out their skill and time and whatever. So I generally present an offer to them and say, will you play for this amount? And I would say 95% of them come back and go, fantastic. There's a few that do come back and try to negotiate, but again, it's more for a reason. One guy this year was like, well, if you give me, this little bit extra more, I can bring out a horn line or this or that. And I'm like, okay, you're adding to the show. It's going to be better. Yes. I will promote for that. But generally, I don't have an issue with fees, really. I'm very fortunate in that aspect that people are happy to be there. I think I pay, fairly reasonably. I know enough people in the industry that I sort of talk to them and go, what, am I paying fair? They're going, oh, no, you're more than fair. You're doing well. So obviously my noon band is not getting as much as my headliner, and if somebody in the afternoon comes and says, well, I can't play for that. I'm like, it's a free gig. Go book at night.
Right.
This is free money.
Right.
Get your big money at night, sort of thing. So it's a whole different thing for me. It's a nice, easy booking system, the way I deal with. Trying not to deal with the agents and riders and all that other complicated stuff. I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid for this, so I want to make my life easy.
That's good.
I need to start a Ribfest.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, like for me, same thing. A lot of it is like local bands, weekend warriors in my world, and so it's similar. And I've never had to maybe it was like one time where I had to talk a band down and say, you're not that big of a deal, relax. But generally speaking, yeah, same thing. But from the artist side,
and they need us. They need us more than we need them.
But that's the thing.
You
That's
don't want to
exactly
play.
right.
I've got 300 other people that do.
That's right. Right. Yeah, from the artist side, it's I've known a lot of bands who would haggle with, but not in the right way. Like that band that you mentioned, like, hey, if you give me this much, I can. That's me. Like I'm like, yeah, like we can do the horn section, we can do this, we can do this. I've not once have I ever had someone say no. They're always like, oh, that value added now.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you can do that, that's cool, and we make sure that we put on a great show. The rules kind of like play for the house, like play for the staff, play for the manager, because that way you'll always win.
Mm.
If you do that, the crowd's gonna love it no matter what, because you're playing for the manager, you're playing for the staff back there, they're gonna love it. And then they go, hey, that worked really well. Let's
Right.
talk about the next time around.
Okay.
So yeah, so for me it's always a value added thing. Otherwise than that, I try to just work within the framework that they have, because I've done both ends for larger events, like large events here in Toronto, and I've done like the small neighborhood stuff. I know the costs involved or the stress involved in terms of doing these kinds of things.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, as long as I can make sure that, and most of the guys I play with in my teams, they're all full-time guys. This is how they pay their rent, and this is how they provide for their kids. And so I want to make sure that they can walk away feeling, yep, it was worthwhile being away from my family for this. At the same time, make it fair for the booking guys. So they know that when they hire us, they're getting something great. And so for me, yeah, for all the artists out there, yeah, have your rates, make it make sense. Work within, hopefully try and work within the flexibility and the framework of the booking agent or the host festival or the booking guy. But whatever you do, make sure that when you show up, you're there to impress. Again, I know it sounds weird to say that, especially in the Christian music industry. I get that. And if you're a worship artist, I understand that sounds weird and feels weird. Again, I have my business hat on. So there is something about like, you want to come and again, do what you do. But there is something about like, if you want to continue doing this, you have to make sure you put on your best foot forward. And so if that means like I said, we always rock for the staff, because in the staff, when they do the staff meetings, like, oh my gosh, that band was amazing, let's bring them back. Never, without fail, it always happens. And so like try and find whatever your goal is. If your goal is just to make people cry, great. That's amazing to have emotional moments, fantastic. But for me, it's like, how can I secure another gig?
Yeah.
That's it. And so for me, it's like being good to the booking agent, to the booking promoter, being really good to the staff, being really good to the tech team, and then really playing for them. The audience, you'll do that automatically if you play for the staff and the owner and you'll do that automatically. You put on a great show and they're gonna love it, and the staff and the tech crew are gonna love it, and they're gonna go back and go, that band, let's bring back for this stuff. I know it's slightly off topic, but that's the artist way of kind of like, how do we treat the button guy?
I want to just thank you guys for being. We're going to close the conversation up, but I know you wanted to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, not just like play for the staff and do your best, that aspect, but also it's the interactions. If you're a nice guy backstage, I will have you back. If you're a fantastic player, but you're a jerk, you're done.
Well,
That's
I
right.
just have a
That's
note.
right.
It just says that. It's funny because we're talking about all this other stuff. This is, have you ever met an artist and they were extremely hard to work with? They were rude, obnoxious, and you work with them was the worst thing you ever experienced you've had. Would you bring them back simply because they were good on stage? Or because the experience you had them, they were just a real jerk? And it's like, so this is for your artists out there. Listen, don't be a jerk. And if you have crew members that are also that way, you're not doing yourself any favors, right? And so,
I had an artist who, at the end of her performance, handed me a handwritten note saying, "Thank you so much for having us here."
That's awesome.
And I'm like,
that meant everything.
"You're in."
Right?
That was it.
That's great.
It was from the heart and meant everything. So.
Yeah. No, one of the things that really turned me off, especially, is, back to what you're saying, when an artist comes and they're being all obnoxious or so, but they present their price to what they think their value is. That is what really turns me off, because at the end of the day, you don't, and again, that's my final thing, going back to business, right? you have not checked your stats. You don't know where your live streams happens. You have not really monitor anything digitally so that the promoter, the producer can feel very confident that you say, hey, you're worth $2,000 or $3,000 or $10,000. I can give that to you based on what you really have as as a product. Right. And that is basically based on what you're saying. So that is literally what really turns me off with when I'm booking an artist and they just throw the price out of wheresoever. So yeah.
All right. So I just want to, hey, if you've been watching this and you're an artist or someone who's involved in the music industry, this has been an incredible nugget for you. Lots of nuggets for helping you to look to what you want to get booked, or look to one of these producers or event producers and stuff that would value that you got from this video. I think you can apply to what you're doing today. I want to just highlight the website, GMIHub.ca. Please go check it out. We have great information in there telling you all about what we do. Plus, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, don't forget to hit the notification bell, hit the like button, all that stuff, because we want to grow our fan base, for lack of a better term. But it's not about fans. It's about family, because we really want to help connect with you and help you to move forward in your music. And there's so many great videos on our YouTube channel, amazing resource, and they're there for you. They're free, available for you. And that's because we care. We really do. We want what's best for you. We want you to do the best you can. So like the conversation we had today, is hopefully this is stuff that's really going to help you move forward. And we were just grateful that you're here, very much so. And anything you want to say, Cheryl?
I was going to say, if you have any questions that we did not ask, definitely send them to us. I'll be happy to forward it to our wonderful panelists. Again, thank you, Drew, for being here. Donna, thank you for tuning in from Buffalo, New York. Thank you, Jay, for coming in, and Devon coming in as well. Rich conversation. I'm sure there's, we've just touched the surface, I'm sure of it, but rich conversation. And if this is something you want to hear more of, let us know, because we're doing this. We're not doing it for us so much. As Dale said, we care about your success. We care about your career moving forward. And we'd rather help you have the building blocks to get to where you want to go than be a stumbling block.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for tuning in with us. We are back again next month with another great panel, another great conversation, probably sticking more on the business side and the marketing side. So come back and again, as Dale said, tune in and watch all those videos that we have. There are over 150 of them. They're there for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be back, and we'll see you next time on GMI Hub Online.